Ohio State is 4-0 and 1-0 in Big Ten play after a 24-6 win over Washington, ending Washington's 22-game home winning streak, while Ohio State is up to 20 straight wins on the road against unranked opponents. I'm Stephen Means, that's Stefan Chrysnik, and this is Andrew Gillis. As we do every week, time to grade the quarterback. Julian Sayin, 22 of 28 for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran it 4 times for 12 yards. Did take his first Big Ten sack. He did take a sack a couple weeks ago, but his first Big Ten sacks. Andrew, you go first. Get your grade.
I'm going to give him an A-. I thought he played pretty well. I think there were moments where we're sitting like way up there, so we kind of have like an all-22 kind of look at it. And there were moments where we kind of looked at each other like, he had Carnell down the seam, or, hey, he had Ennis down the slot, or he had Jeremiah here. Or, there were a couple moments where I think Ryan Day said this right in his post-game press conference. We're going to be sick when we look at the first quarter tape. And I think part of that is, they ran the ball a lot on that first drive, but there were, I think, some throws that Julian missed. That's why it's not an A or an A+. However, he came into this environment. I tweeted this out like it was the first play of the game for Ohio State offensively, and the press box was shaking. This is a very, very loud, intimidating place to play. Didn't really kind of seem to faze him. I know they didn't really play all that well in the first half, but I thought that play kind of like right where we're standing, where Washington sends the house, he's able to back up, and he waited, and it would have been very easy for him to just get rid of it as soon as he saw a free rusher, but he waited an extra beat, found Jeremiah. They go into the half with a really not great performance, up 7-3. I thought getting out of that was important. There were some throws he was making along the sidelines that you just went, yeesh. Like Steven, I think at one point, and I'll let him kind of talk about this more, but he remarked, so let him run it. So let him cook, let him do this, because he had a throw to Carnell, I think, behind where this camera's set up. He had a throw to one of the tight ends over there that was right along the sidelines. Like, there were some really, really nice throws that he was making. I think he came into a nice environment, or a tough environment. I thought he made some really nice throws, even recovering from some of that sloppy stuff. And in an environment like this, most importantly, he avoided any catastrophic errors. So I'm at an A-. I was pretty impressed with him as this game went along. There's a lot to work on, but I think maybe if this was a home game, I'm at like a B+. But considering the environment and considering this was his first big test like that, A-.
A- from Mr. Gillis in the grade book. Check it. Mr. Krajisnik, what's your grade?
Yeah, I'm giving him an A. I thought he played outstanding today when Ohio State asked him. I don't really know why they continued, at least at the early parts of this game, to be careful and conservative with the way that they use Julian Sayin. I think he showed you against Texas that he could handle more, and Ryan Day and Brian Hartline both said that he could have handled more in that Texas game. And in the start of this game today, it seemed like they weren't ready to give him more. And then once they did, it worked. He threw the ball 21 times in the second half, and believe it or not, Ohio State scored 17 points in the second half after scoring 7 in the first half. Like, Julian Sayin is ready for the moment. And I agree with everything you said there. Like, he was accurate, the poise in an environment like this for someone making his first road start, like all that. That all contributes to his A. It's more so, when he's being an A quarterback, why don't you let him be an A quarterback, right? Like, they're the only thing limiting him to this point has been the play calling. You just read the stats. He was 22 of 28. Like, what? And when the passes weren't there, he was running it and showing his mobility that he hasn't had, or that I guess we didn't know how much he was going to have coming into the season. Like, he showed it. So I agree with you. There are some plays that he missed throughout the game, and maybe that's why they didn't give him an A+. But I remember there was one play, Steven, where you were saying he had Jeremiah. I'm kind of sitting there watching a replay on the TV in the press box being like, yeah, but there was a defender right in his face, and he found an open Bo Jackson, take your 7 yards, where you can get your 7 yards instead of when there's pressure in your face trying to force something. Like, Julian is doing what Julian's being asked to do. I give him an A, but if we're talking about what Julian is and this offense are doing, I've got some questions because I don't know why they were hesitant to put more on his plate. Maybe the way he played in the second half and the way the team played in the second half will open it up, and maybe it'll look different when they play Minnesota next week. Is that next week? I don't know what's going on anymore. If they give it to Minnesota, when they go to Minnesota and they put more on his plate, and maybe they're aggressive early, I'd like to see that, because I wrote it in my story at the buzzer that the first half looked a lot like how Ohio State lost to Michigan last year. Now, the difference is, and what's maybe a cause for confidence, is that stayed throughout the game against Michigan. They flipped that switch in the second half here against Washington. It looked like a totally different game in the second half. Julian Sayin is an A quarterback, and Julian Sayin should be in the Heisman conversation. He's not, because they're not letting him do more, to put up stats, to do things that make him a Heisman candidate. Because guess what? Jeremiah Smith's also a Heisman candidate, and when they started using him like a Heisman candidate, they scored a lot of points.
before I give my grade, I was told before we got on the mic, I do this thing where I come in hot right after the game, and then on Mondays I'm a little more calm. Fine. We think Julian Sayin is the best quarterback in the Big Ten.
Yeah. I mean, there's a TV over there that has the Oregon-Penn State game on, so as we record, maybe Dante Moore is making his case as we're speaking. I don't know. I can't see.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. I told you I don't know what's going on.
Okay, fine. But, like, we've said this for weeks that we think he's the best quarterback in the Big Ten, and he just needs the games where he can show it. Do you agree with us?
I'm not there yet.
Okay. That's not
And
wrong.
it's not that. Yeah, it's. I'm not there yet because the kid at Indiana, Mendoza, might be really good, and it's 4:30 local time. There's a game kicking off, very important that we're going to find out about.
But like that, but I think you're getting ready to say what I'm saying.
I think
That's
fair.
the point. We keep going, hey, this is the best quarterback in the Big Ten. Hey, it might be the best quarterback in the country. We're just waiting on them to let him be the best quarterback in the country. And you're like, I don't know, man. He hasn't showed it yet. I don't know, man. Am I losing it here? He was very good today. I'm giving him an A+. He to the point of he's missing some throws. Here's how I couch that. It's almost like asking a three-point shooter, hey, how come you're not pulling from deep yet? Well, because you haven't let me shoot a couple of layups to find a rhythm, right? It's their offense right now feels very much like we're trying to establish the run. We're going to show you all these different formations with the tight ends and then play action deep shot. And if that's not there, he has no rhythm, and then they just drop back pass, and you're going, how come you miss JJ there? Well, because he's not in it yet. Let him figure it out, right? I don't think it's fair to ask a first-year starting quarterback out the gate to just be layering throws over a defense. It doesn't mean he's not missing those reads. Yeah. You're right. But the reason he's missing those reads is there's no rhythm. We saw Damon Williams get into a little bit of a rhythm, and then he started ripping throws. Julian Sayin has not had the opportunity to prove me right. And there's only so many weeks before I have to let that go. And it doesn't mean it's because he's doing something wrong. It's just they might not need him to be that. So it doesn't matter if he's a guy who can throw it 35 times. He still completed 77% of his passes or something like that today. I think he is a very good quarterback. For whatever reason, this offense is not just unleashing it completely until they absolutely have to have it. And so as a result, as the light came on. Let the lights come on for the offense, and I promise you, I think we're going to see an elite version of Julian Sayin. Problem is they haven't needed it yet, so it is what it is. A+, A-, 614-350-3315, 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. Ohio State 4-0. All that, they're undefeated. They're the number one team in the country. They get Minnesota next week. We'll be there. Get the text 614-350 and go listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you find podcasts. See ya.